This video continues from where the previous one left off, which was the basic series titled Basic Series Part 1, Understanding the Bible, God's Purpose and Goal. So the question is, how do we actually get from there to here? So what do I mean by that? So again, if you recall, the last part of what I explained is that each Jewish person is chosen to keep the commandments, the 613 commandments of Hashem, of God, and the 7 Noahide laws for the nations of the world. Again, those are the 7 commandments that God commanded Noah for his children to keep. Now, our purpose and goal is to change the world for good. Now, this is in our own life as well as to change the lives of others around us. Again, this will ultimately cause the chain effect that will affect all of existence and all of humanity, bringing redemption to the Jewish people as well as all of humanity. So these are key things that we are trying to accomplish over here according to God's wisdom. Now, make no false pretenses about this. This is a real process. I strongly really recommend that you view it as a slow and steady journey. Now, the journey has many treasures on the way. Now, this enriches the journey itself in its own right, but it also leads to the fulfillment and awe of God while building your love for Him. By the time you reach the end of your journey, then you should be at the level of complete devekut to God. Devekut is the Hebrew, which basically means the complete clinging or the complete connection to God. And that is, again, what we're all about here, meaning that your soul is completely attached to God. Now, as I said, make no false pretenses about this. It's not an easy thing to do necessarily, but it's well worth it. There is only one true way to achieve this, and that is through the Torah. The Torah is a journey of discovery, as well, you can say, are as many other of the esoteric teachings and traditions. But you have to keep in mind this, it is only the Torah that God gave Himself and communicated it, not just to one single individual, single man who claimed to have some sort of revelation. No, it was to an entire nation. We're talking over 2 million plus people who heard the voice of God simultaneously. Therefore, each one can validate with the other one what they heard, and it was very clear. Now, in order to begin to understand the Torah, you must keep in mind, as I said again, and I'll repeat it, it's a slow learning process. And you can compare it to the laws or like mathematics. Can you imagine, just picture in your mind, imagine teaching an elementary school kid about calculus or advanced calculus. How about fractal mathematics and physics? It's impossible to do this without having the basic foundations and understanding of math. Now, this includes obviously the symbols. There's a lot of symbols in math. The operations or the operators, as well as the functions, of course, as well as the laws of mathematics. Therefore, in order to begin to understand the Torah, you must keep in mind that it too has its own letters, symbols, operations, and functions, as well as laws. Now, this is just scratching the surface. There's so much more besides all of this, because it is, just as all of creation and thus all of existence, it is actually both finite as well as infinite. And I'll explain that later on. And again, the whole concept is the finite and the infinite truly unites what appears to be two opposites, because in all reality, all is one. This is the understanding, and this is the real revelation that will come to be fully understood by everybody including all of the nations, as it's recorded in the book of the prophet Zechariah, which I guess you would say Zechariah in English, but the real pronunciation of his name, as he was called, is Zechariah. In chapter 14, verse 9, it is written over there, V'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihya Adonai echad ushmo echad. Translated, and the Lord shall be king over all the earth. On that day shall the Lord be one, and his name one. We'll explore more details of what this verse means and break it down at a later time. Now understand this concept in another comparison. In accordance to the laws of mathematics, this is actually also the secret of pi. Yes. Now I hope to explain this in more detail also in one of my advanced lessons, because there is a lot of prerequisites to understand, a lot of knowledge that you need in order first to understand what all this is about. Now, what you must understand now, though, is that the Torah is the blueprint of all creation. Thus, everything is contained therein. This includes even you. Yes, you who are listening right now to this video. Every person who was, who is, who will ever be, is actually found in the Torah. One method to find yourself is through the letters of the Torah. This is the root of your soul. God chose in the Torah specific letters, words that manifest your name via what we call equidistant letter skips. Today, this is popularly known as the Bible Code or the Torah Code. Now, this is something that I have personally been taught and that I also do for others. And I was taught the methodology behind this specifically from a very special Rabbanim and a very special rabbi who I learned on one-on-one, who unfortunately is no longer in this world. He passed away. Now, there are laws that even govern this aspect of the Torah, and this methodology is not something new, as many people are believed to, that's popular knowledge that came out by Professor Rips in the 80s. He brought it out. But it has been done before the invention, long time before the computer. In fact, the idea and method was also given by God to Moshe, or in English, Moses, as part of the complete package of the Torah. So it's part and parcel. Now, the most proficient active person involved in this methodology, who is doing this today, is Rabbi Matisyahu Glazerson. Now, he is also a personal friend of mine, and you can see many of his videos about this on YouTube. Now, getting back to our main subject, what then is the Torah? It's a good question. I'm going to break it down simple. It is none other than the wisdom of God, as it were. He took a portion of himself, of his own wisdom, and from that he formulated the Torah. When a person connects to the Torah, each according to his soul level, you are literally connecting to God. You are able to do this through the aspect of his wisdom, or as we say in Ivrit, Chachma. It is of the utmost importance to know it is not by wisdom and intellect alone that one can reach this true devekut, this true connection to God. If one approaches this knowledge of the Torah for academic reasons, and this is it, our great ancient sages have said that it is better if such a person wouldn't have been born. It's this serious. Now understand, even if you want to study the Torah and its sacred knowledge for the sole purpose, pun is intended, of getting closer to God and to have a special relationship with him, but that's all you do. You just read, you just study, you're not going to succeed. What's missing? It is the implementation of the commandments in the Torah, God's wisdom. This is what it is. It's not just an intellectual pursuit. God wants that his wisdom become manifest in this physical world through action, as well as cognitive thought or active consciousness. Therefore, if you are Jewish, you are required to keep and guard the commandments of the Torah. If you are not Jewish, you are required to keep, to do the 7 commandments that God commanded Noah, again called the 7 Noahide laws, and to his children. And this is absolutely applicable today. Now, before you decide, I have to turn off the video here because you're thinking to yourself, based on your current situation, your lifestyle, that I'm not going to do this, so why even continue? Don't give up on yourself. God hasn't given up on you. The proof? You're still here. You are still alive by the good graces of God. And why is this? Because he hasn't given up on you. God knows the situation of everyone, and everyone has the opportunity to return to the Lord. If anything, let these videos and my website, which is searching for the number 4, thetruth.com, let it help to be a springboard, help you, get started at least. And as your knowledge grows and your soul gets nourished from it, then you might begin to see things in a different light. And your understanding will also grow. And on your own, you will want to have the desire to accept upon yourself the commandments of God, even one at a time. Baby steps. Every little bit helps, as we say in Hebrew, la'at, la'at. When you're doing this, you're taking the baby steps. Hopefully soon you'll be able to literally pick yourself up and truly then walk in God's way according to his higher wisdom. Now, let's understand something else as we're going to continue here. There is so many deep levels in understanding according to the Torah. One has to first look at the very building blocks of the Torah itself, which is the Hebrew letters, or which are the Hebrew letters. There are 22 of the Hebrew letters, but those are called the root letters. But did you ever wonder and think, why are there 12 months of the year, 12 zodiacs, 12 tribes of Israel, etc.? What's so special about the number 12? Where did it derive from? Where did it come from? Why are things set on a base 90, base 60, of course base 7, which is the most obvious of them all? All of this information has been given to us. We have it, we understand it, and God willing, again, I will begin to explain it to you. What is important to understand is that when you yourself are looking and you are reading the Bible, which most people have, the King James Version, etc., or those who are really scholarly and the priests where they're required to know it in its original Greek and in Latin, guess what? It's not Hebrew. And if you're looking and trying to decipher the Old Testament or the original Testament in Greek and Latin, it can't be done. And it cannot be done in English to understand it really properly. Let's just take for an example. When we say God, the Lord, the Mighty One, the Master of the world, you can use many different types of euphemisms, names, epithets, as it's called also, to describe God. You are severely limited in English, and you might just switch off between this one and that one and have no idea what the nuances are. What does the actual Torah write in those specific verses regarding those specific names of God? Why were those names chosen? Why did Elohim create the heavens and the earth? And through all of creation's story, why in the 2nd chapter do we have then the name of Yud-Keh Vav-Keh, Elohim, together? There is an absolute reason and purpose why this is. And again, this will be explained. Right now I want to pose the questions so you get some idea of what we have that unfortunately most of the world, and of course, doesn't have. Again, God gave us the Torah, he gave us a sacred knowledge, and again, my job is to share it with you. So we're going to continue. All of these have, again, specific meanings. The Torah was given to us so connecting to God. We do that again through the Hebrew. So if somebody wants to look and wants to understand, you have to understand one thing as well too. When you are just looking at the English, for instance, or any other translation of the Torah, you are looking at a converted piece. It's like taking a snapshot and all of a sudden taking that and making it into a different format, changing its original form, its original reality. Therefore, you're changing its original content, and even more importantly, you're actually changing the original spirit. And this is very, very important to know, because the Ruach, the wisdom of God, is alive. The Torah is alive. The letters are alive. There is energy in all of these things. And when one truly reads and connects and fulfills the commandments, adheres to the Torah, according to what's there, according to what the rabbis or the Rabbanim have also gave on, which is called mitzvot the Rabbanan, which is also very, very important. The Torah makes a point of that likewise. One is then literally enveloping oneself in the garments of the light of God. And literally, when you are reading and studying the Torah in this matter, then God's wisdom is coming out of the pages, out of the letters, and it is literally infusing its soul in itself with your soul, making these connections. Very important. We're going to discuss in the next section regarding the actual depth of the Hebrew letters, just to give you an idea, because all of these things pertain to a deeper understanding of why God chose these particular letters, these particular words. In fact, the Torah, as it's been given to us and understood, based on, again, Sefer Yetzirah, or it actually was written down accordingly by Abraham or Avraham, our forefather. Even before the Torah was given, God already communicated, and it's even said that, yes, even Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, taught his children Torah. God gave it already first to Avraham, and he taught it to his children, etc. And therefore the secrets and this knowledge was passed on even from then. Avraham wrote the Sefer Yetzirah, and there we're going to go into some more detail, but you'll find out about the 32 mystical paths and what that actually means, and also the different levels of Sapir, Sefer, Sapor, etc. These are all, again, relating to the letters themselves of the Torah and their deeper meanings, including numerology, or as we say, gematria. Gematria, you can almost look upon as the neurons of the system that connects the entire brain, the entire chachma, wisdom, all together. Because you have words, and words just might appear to be something separate from another word. But the reality of it is there are strings, like the neurons, that connect one word to the other word, that you will not see apparently, but have the same gematria, the same numerical value. Now you have to be careful about this, because again, there is a method, there is a formula that has been taught about what to do and how to use them. Again, like a chemistry lab. You combine the wrong chemicals, you combine the wrong things, come to the wrong conclusions. God, again, forbid, you can kill yourself. You can kill yourself spiritually as well. So therefore you have to know what to combine, how to combine them, and what they really mean. Classic example, the word Mashiach and the word Nachash, which again translates into the anointed one, the Messiah, and the snake, have the same gematria value of 358. Therefore, one could come to the wrong conclusion and think to themselves that, well, the Nachash, the snake, and the Messiah, they must be one of the same thing. In fact, because of that, who says that the snake is bad or evil, or the Messiah is really that great? Maybe he's also as sly in his arumim, or arum in this case, as the word is in Hebrew in the Torah there, being cunning as the Nachash. And if this is the case and we're equating both of them completely together with that understanding that, you know what, Messiah is going to be a shyster just like the snake was, then some obviously has the wrong understanding, the wrong meaning, and will lead to a very, very bad conclusion. We know and we are taught on a simpler understanding, get a deeper level, that one counterbalances the other. God made everything in the world in perfect balance. Therefore, the tests that we have today equal the trials that we have today. We cannot compare our trials and tests to the generation before. They had their own. Everyone has their own. Every person, every generation, every moment. Therefore, the Nachash, the snake, and Mashiach are opposite sides of the spectrum, as it says, where God balances them off, one to counterbalance the other one, or in this case, the Mashiach to balance off the power of the Nachash. And again, we'll explain more on that later on, and also explaining truly what is considered cunning or evil. What is the evil urge? What is this angel of death? What is the Satan, or in English, Satan? Is this really an opposing angel who goes against God? This is again what most religions and view of most people are. It's not true. And again, we'll explain more in detail really what that is, so you will have the proper understanding. This is again a part of the real sacred knowledge. And hopefully by the time that we're going to get through this, your life will be more enhanced, and from that point on, your connection to God will be greater, and I will still have hopefully done some of my job, and hopefully will continue to teach and to educate as much as I possibly can. Thank you.